Welcome to one of the highlights of the top 8. We have two favorites clashing today. We got France against Sweden. Baguettes against meatballs. Towers of Doom is actually baguettes with meatballs. Now we're talking. Towers of Doom is our first map in the best of 5 series. And it's gonna be awesome. Again, like, we are in the round robin. We're down to 8 teams now at the European qualifier for the Nations Cup. All of this is gonna culminate in an offline event in Berlin on the 10th and 11th of June. And you guys can stop by. There's no tickets, there's no entrance fee, nothing like that. You can just simply come to the experience at the Alexanderplatz in Berlin, show up, and enjoy the show. Now, obviously, since it is in Berlin, there's also an opportunity to just combo this off with a bit of a city trip. The experience itself is super central at the Alexanderplatz. As I said, you can also check out the link in the description if you guys want to have a bit of an idea of what the venue looks like, events that they've done in the past. They got a lot of images also and pictures on their Instagram accounts, on their socials, on the website, a couple of links to streams of previous events. So if you just want to get a bit of an idea, tons of people had already messaged us and said, like, hey, we booked our flights, we booked our trip, we're going to be there, and it's going to be awesome. So if you want to enjoy some international Heroes of the Storm offline, that's your best opportunity. We're going to get a team from North America in, a team from Asia as well, and they're obviously the top 4 European teams. And these two are two of the favorites to go to Berlin, the French and the Swedes. Germany would be the 3rd, and then of course everybody else currently fighting for the 4th spot. There could be upsets again, and of course in addition to that you also have the question of seeding heading into the tournament, so that you have a bit of a better start into all of this. Now the Frenchies are playing with a sub player here today, and on Towers of Doom, obviously our starting map, again, Globals will reign supreme. I'm actually a little bit surprised that the Haka wasn't picked yet. I would assume that now either Blaze or the Haka get chosen. Blaze it is for the Quasar. And yeah, on the right side we got Lauba with Diablo. Yeah, Sweden. Lately, every single time we were talking about Nations Cup, I have to think about like the few sentences and phrases that I know in each language, and I think I told that story in one of the group stage matches. But when it comes to Sweden, the only thing that I really know is stuff that Fnatic taught me, and obviously, as you can expect from Fnatic, the only thing that they taught me is troll shit, right? So all I can say pretty much is like Jevla Opa and Sluta Pila Bruten. So that's the only thing. And it's some of the dumbest stuff ever. But that's what you learn when you hang out with Fnatic. So yeah, that's just what it is. Then again, the baguettes on the left side with a nice opening already. So we got a Nuburak, we got Blaze, which means double stun. You have some displacement happening with Junkrat. Anduin has been banned, so no light bomb engages. And be curious to see what exactly is going to happen now for the red team. By the way, the red team, each country, when there were multiple teams that signed up for a specific country, they had a local qualifier. And for Sweden, I believe we had 3 or even 4 teams that signed up. One of them included Breeze, but they didn't make it. So these boys, they took them down. Sven and Skog now with Maiev and with Dehaka. There's the Dehaka pick that I expected a bit earlier in this draft, but we get him eventually. Now Swamgota needs to go for some extra damage, but, well, for the Frenchies, we have Banana H and their sub-player who still have to pick. Banana with Rhaegar, and that leaves us with Tychus as the final pick. So, alright, Towers of Doom, everybody. Final pick for the Swedes. What's it going to be? Bit more damage, bit more of an oomph that they need to take some targets down, but then we're heading into the first map of this best of 5 series. It's going to be good, it's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see which team walks away with a victory here. We had already an absolute banger earlier between Ukraine and Poland. And now I just want to see if this one can live up to the hype as well, or if one of the teams is going to dominate here. Sylvanas, final pick. And with that, we're off to the races. Towers of Doom, ladies and gentlemen. The Frenchies, the Baguettes on the left. We got Banana Age on Rhaegar, Quasar on Blaze, Masquerade on Nubarak, Yasuo is playing Junkrat, and their sub-player of the day, MGQB, so the mega quarterback on Tychus. I really hope he picked the talent as well. On the right side, it's the Swedes with Svamkrota on Sylvanas. We get Captain Rex on Lucio, Lauba on Diablo, Sven on Dehaka, and Skok is playing Maiev. So, the meatballs. The IKEA boys, can they take France down or not? Again, results are going to matter a lot here because, as I said before, we have 3 favorites to make it to the offline event in Europe. Germany, Sweden and France. And obviously a result between the 3 of them are also going to be pretty impactful for the rest of the standings there. Lauba gets attacked very early on as usual, but this time it seems like he might just be able to survive through all of this. Maiev, on the other hand, yeah, she's not going to make it. So the Frenchies, they get the first win as they take Maiev down. And now everybody starting to jump back onto the lanes. Top side, the 1v1 gets established. More or less, because guess what? Svamkrota shows up and says hi. And there's a lick in. I guess this is going to be the end of Quasar. Yep, Quasar is down. Nicely done. The side laner eliminated. And that was a fairly decent job by the Swedes. So after initially they were the ones that lost Maiev in that encounter, they now brought it back. Good damage from them. And as you can tell right here, the party continues at the bottom of the map as everybody is just trying to look if they can maybe get a second kill, can take a couple of structures down, rotations are happening, and as the 1 minute mark has passed, that also means that it's time for a couple of additional thingies. Pumpkins. Pumpkins, get those shots fired, get your camps up. So that's what the teams are currently looking for here. But we got still with the Swedes rotating around, trying to threaten this a little bit, threatening an invade. They took their own camp already, so no problem there. Still just some early game shenanigans. And the rotation between Blaze, Dehaka going top lane, bot lane is still ongoing, which means the bot lane is all dominated by the 4-man that the teams have fielded here, with level 4 kicking in for the 2 of them at the same time. We get the bed of barbs right now, so that one's up. In the case of Tychus, it's again all about the passive as he picks Master Assassin to get the additional speed. And of course we get the boom pow right there. Top side, Blaze all alone on his little snowflake. First objective going to be announced in a couple of seconds, and then it's time to party. But they're already going for a stun and a bit of displacement with Scott being targeted. He tries to turn it on the blue team and tethers them in. But everybody is just hoping for a chance to get a quick kill before the objective spawns. And some structural damage, which is exactly what we're seeing now from the French team down at the bottom of the map. So, getting some hits in right over here. Whereas up at the mid lane, I mean, mid lane obviously is your gate and your opening to the 2 altars at the top is normally the 2-3 trade. But since the mega quarterback over here, Mr. Tychus himself, just gets hammered, he's dead. Lauba is very likely gonna die too, unless he gets some support, but currently doesn't seem like it. He was on 4 hit points for a second, and now he can still play this out a bit, waste their time. Nubarak was killed, Quasar misses the stun and dies a second later, and that also means that Yasuo is most likely gonna fall now too. Gets pushed into the wrong direction and crushed, so 2 of the altars go to the Swedish team as the French are claiming the one at the top left. Allez le bleu! They're walking straight into the fire here. 3 kills behind, and level 7 is already available for Sweden. So, here we are, with Dehaka playing for a little bit more, Sven doing his thing, and of course, as you can tell, we still have Maiev looking pretty over here. She's been doing a lot of work. Maiev is honestly a really awesome hero to just watch if you can combo it with Stukov. We have the tether into a lurking arm. True and tried combo. And Nubarak on this crap is just wrong, by the way. That's just wrong. I don't even know what to say to this. This is just so weird. So you have 2 thingies that have an exoskeleton and 1 rides on the other. I don't know what to say there. I think there's like Sylvanas I did not know that Sylvanas has an invisibility ability. I mean, damn! That was news to me. So she just pulled a Zeratul. 1 second she's here and then zip! She is gone. So, a little bit of a Houdini play by her. Down here though, the aggression continues as the French are pushing for that bell tower. They really want bot lane control. I mean, it's the most important thing on Towers of Doom for the late game, of course. But there's our tether. But not enough to seriously threaten them. Single altar is coming up next, this time at the bottom of the map. And yep, up towards the mid lane, Sylvanas has basically learned a lesson. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna go too deep here when I don't know where the rest of them is. Kinda hurt the last time. Not gonna do it again. Kill me once. Shame on me. No, the other way around. Sorry, got distracted. So, level 10 is in. We got heroic abilities. It gives us also the disc. And of course, there's a bit of a window that can be used by the Swedish team. And, well, what do you know? They use it. They get 2 kills. The tether on Maiev is once again on point. Double kill for them. Also means that they're going to grab another altar. And that is a solid leading experience now. They still have the level 10 advantage. So the blue team hasn't caught up yet, which means they can now destroy the wall at the bottom of the map pretty easily. I don't think they can go much deeper than that, but that is already a big win. First, you get the altar, you get 2 kills, you get the wall, and it seems like Masquerade is determined to force that fight, but that was more wishful thinking than anything else. I assume it doesn't really matter too much to burn the cooldown here, because he's going to be up. He's going to have the cooldown back up for the next objective, but now they can't force the battle here around the middle if they, for example, wanted to. Sweden is doing well. At least here in the early game. Solid experience lead established, ahead in kills. Structurally, they're also not looking too bad, but of course, more importantly, on the core, they are taking a solid lead. They're 2 altars ahead right now. Sylvanas is moving into the middle, realizing very quickly, I don't want to be here. And then she gets killed again. There's no way he gets out of this one. So yeah, Svamkrota, second time that he falls into that little trap. Didn't see that rotation coming. Maybe it wasn't called. Maybe they expected them to be somewhere else, expected them to be towards the camp. But either way, it leads to him getting blown up within seconds. And now they could even lose their pumpkin camp down at the bottom right. That's at least what France is trying to do. So they're currently hoping that they can move in, take this away from them. The disc is out though, so the camp gets claimed by Sweden. Now the Haka is in. Misses the tongue though. Sven, yeah, he's not quite on the point with that. Nice wailing arrow. Ancestral is out. Good reaction from the Haka. I gotta say, it was a really nice back and forth fight. So the French team salvaging the situation. For a few seconds, it seemed like they might lose a hero or 2, but then they turn the entire play around on their opponent. And the shots are being fired. So another altar gets channeled, and that means we're talking about an absolute even score on core points. And in experience, they're also dead even now. So this game is just anyone's to grab. Nicely done. This is exactly the kind of game that I expected from the 2 teams here, and so far they haven't really disappointed. The aggression is definitely there now. Sweden a little bit behind in experience even, but the party still continues. So now we got the Ripper Air in. We also got our Burning Beetles. Another attack all the way topside. They try to go for Lucio, and he makes it out. The barbecue takes down Junkrat, but Lauber is going to pay the price for it. He had his soul stacks up, so he will be back. Maiev, on the other hand, she's down for the full duration. So yeah, no mitigating factors for her. 7 kills to 8. The French are catching up on their kills. Getting closer and closer here. Damage output that we're seeing from the 2 teams. We now got 23,000 from Maiev. So she's top damage on the blue team, on the red team. And 32,000 for Junkrat, who's doing a great job, of course, for the French here. Good displacement from him, zoning, and then the damage numbers themselves also solid. Tychus is just behind with 31,000, not too bad either. But, yep, at the top. Sven again, just looking for the next lick and the next tongue. Alright, going full Dumb and Dumber on us. Sticking the tongue out a little bit too often here. But it is the next exchange, very likely, on the altars, as we have the top left and the top right coming through. So there's another Cocoon. Damn, Masquerade is really YOLOing these out like they're free. So they are trying to engage here. They have no damage dealer with them on the other hand, but they bought a bit of time, and that allowed Tigers to channel on the left side. So 24 to 24 points, and Svamgrotta is getting their own channel through on the altar. But still, with that, we now have another camp about to be taken. I don't really think that the French are willing to attack over here and invade. I mean, maybe they are. Nah, easily dodged. Masquerade jumping out, Disc is out, and Skok jumped a little bit too early. Riptide explodes. Not really of any consequence though. The pressure at the bottom of the map is mounting up a bit more towards the right side, towards Sweden. But Dehaka is still at the top, hasn't joined them yet. So, yeah, Blaze is now coming in, which means this is going to turn quickly into an... Oh, Dehaka is already here. 5 versus 5, right from the get-go. The tongue connects. Masquerade is dead, but so is Sylvana. So each team loses one of their heroes. And Tigers is doing a great job so far as the sub here. Banana has the self-ancestral and survives and tries to take Lauber down. So now that Odin got popped, they really try and turn that fight again. It's a 4 versus 4 after all. Another quick hit in. Good stun into the wall. Trying to go for the Quasi again. Damn, fireworks all over the place now. Another stun, another engage. Now Maiev is coming in, looking for the tether, getting the hit in on Rega, and he's down. And it's the end of Blaze too. They overstayed their welcome. And Junkrat doesn't make it either. All 3 are gone. Tychus is the only survivor down here. Triple altar phase is coming up, and now instead of going for the bell tower, they seem to be aiming for a quick double altar channel to get the upper hand on the objective. Still pushing a little bit, but Sweden has definitely now taken a big step towards a potential victory. Not only gaining a level in experience over the opponent's team, but also the chance to channel 2 out of the 3, which is going to drop France down to 16 points. So, Masquerade gets at least 1, but not only are they going to get the channel, they are also going to get that bell tower at the bottom. Lucio is delaying it, so it's going to be 5 shots fired, and that puts them down to 15. 15 to 20. So, yep. Taking a bit of an advantage now. Shots fired, and more importantly, the level lead. This is honestly one of the most important things now for Sweden. Hitting the early level 20 is exactly what you're looking for. If they get... I mean, if a few of them die, obviously, then it's going to backfire. But another engage forced, and Lucio is dead, but it seems that Junkrat is also down. Ancestral on Blaze, it means that Rega doesn't have it for himself and dies. Dequaza still gets body blocked. Jet propulsion misses. Dequaza is gonna fall. He's gonna die. That's another 3 down for the French team. They hope to force the fight around the Nubarox Cocoon. They got their kill, but it still ends up in a total disaster for them as they're losing way too many heroes, and now Masquerade is also gonna get murdered. So that is 4 heroes down on the French side, 16 kills, 2-9, and that is just a glorious spot for Sweden to be in. Closer and closer to level 20, stealing the pumpkin camps away from the opponent's team, moving into the middle and threaten another bell tower conversion. 40,000 damage on Maiev alone, and now that they are slowing the approach at the bot lane, they might even connect a few of the pumpkins here. Now, obviously, we're going to have a bit of a defense set up, but this is just a nightmare for the French. Absolute nightmare for them. They're in real trouble right now. Disc is out. Mid lane push not continue. Dehaka taking another pumpkin camp at the top. They are in full control. I think this one might fall, but the tether, and yeah, Junkrat survives. But so does Lauber. Diablo is still alive and kicking, and keep in mind that Dehaka isn't here. Dehaka is applying top lane pressure and has some pumpkins to push this in together with him. So that is actually really annoying. That's a solid amount of damage that he's getting out of this one. And we still have an altar down at the bottom of the map, which is likely going to let go by France because they don't have level 20. So yeah, some interrupt, some poke, fair enough. But I don't think that they're going to stay here too long. So this is 10 points on the core, 9 points on the core. One of the pumpkins made it through. So we're going single digits now. Shots fired, bam, and that is 9 to 20. And more problematic, still a 1.5 level gap between the two teams here. So, yeah. The Haka pushing, they're trying to retake. Barbecue! And Rega gets burned to a crisp. That's what we call a hot dog. Oh yeah, I did it. So, 17-9. Another lick up at the top. Again, they could convert the middle, but instead they seem to be trying for Sven now. And that is an interesting fight, because all of a sudden we have Sylvanas here too. Junkrat gone, and while the blue team is still hoping to convert the bot lane back, both of these altars could, or both of these bell towers could now fall. So yeah, I think this is a bit of a disaster for them now, since this is another kill against Dequaza, and I think that's lights out. Very likely they're going to lose all of the bell towers now. Bell tower in the top is already taken, and now they can start the full barrage by simply converting the one in the bot lane over, or in the mid lane. Haven't even made a move for this yet, but they're on 6 bell towers. And altars are activating, and this is doable. Now the blue team has decided that they're going to go down to the bottom of the map to retake this, which might happen, but they also might lose a few more heroes in the attempt of pulling this off. And now it got defended, and they lost the middle. The barrage is starting. Guys, one channel at the top right and the game's over. One channel at the top right, which is exactly where Sylvanas is headed, and this game is over. Too many shots fired. Nubarak is dead. This is the lead for Sweden. Yep, another quick kill. Few more shots are in. Sylvanas channels it through. 9-22. And Sweden takes the lead over France with a victory on Towers of Boom. Nicely done, GG, and well played.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Game number 2, Sweden in the lead after the victory on Towers of Doom. We're now heading for Garden of Terror. Map choice by the Swedish team. So on the left side we got France right now. Obviously, as I said before, playing with a sub today, so keep that in mind. Also, quick reminder guys, if you like offline events like we're trying to host here, again this is the online qualifier for Europe, but obviously the offline event taking place in Berlin, where we have a North American team and an Asian team, so International Heroes of the Storm offline. We hosted 2 events last year already in Miami, now we're hosting one in Berlin. If you would like us to do more of this in the future, there is a crowdfunding attached to the entire event that you can contribute to if you want to support those efforts. We would like to keep the offline scene and generally the Heroes of the Storm esports scene alive, but as you can imagine, with Blizzard abandoning the game, it's not really easy to pull that off these days, and at the end of the day, we are reliant on community support for that. So if you want to support these efforts, if you want to check it out, there is a crowdfunding link that you can find in the description of the video, so make sure that you check that out if you would like things like this to continue in the future. Muradin banned, and Hogger banned as well. I mean, it's Garden of Terror, so you want to ban Hogger out immediately. He's usually first pick worthy, because he has so many mercenary camps on the map that he can easily take. And in addition to that, anything that can, take mercenary camps down quickly is usually a win here. Greymane gets taken a lot. You see your Janas over here. We could still see an Abathur pick. You see the Vikings. I mean, there's tons and tons of stuff that is absolutely pick-worthy on a big map like Garden of Terror. Globals become a factor as well. Now, the Haka has obviously already been played. And in addition to that, there's still Falstad that you could do too. And yeah, use him. Hanzo as an early pick here for Yasu. And, well, on the right side, what do we have there? Last time that we were on this map, we had an immediate pick into Abathur and Samura, so it started off pretty wild. I expect a more tamer start into the draft, a little bit more tame. So, let's see, Johanna and Anduin are both taken, so it's Blondie time. Alright. A blonde and a brunette are both jumping from a skyscraper. Who arrives at the bottom first? The brunette, obviously. The blonde one had to ask for the way first, midway through. I believe it was Anduin. Cry all you want, I don't care. It was funny 25 years ago, and it's still funny today. So, Urel and Tyrael, or not funny, and that's why it's funny, like, depending on how you look at it. So, Dequaza on Urel on the side lane, Tyrael for Masquerade. Masquerade is probably going to play a little bit more of a standard Tyrael compared to what we're getting from Nick, which I don't mind, but yeah. So, we got Tracer banned out. I kind of want to see Tracer. We had her banned like 5 times already, and nobody has taken her today. Yeah, at all. Like, this is the 3rd best of 5 that we're playing, and we haven't seen a single Tracer yet. Would love to see her just rush around and, yeah, I don't know, take a few heroes down. So, yeah. And then again, final ban for game number 2. They hate fun. They really hate fun. Then again, probably not a bad idea to ban the Vikings against the Swedes. That fits also culturally, so you want to be a little bit careful there. But, yeah. Alright, let's see what we get. They like blondies. Look at this. Jaina, Anduin, and Jojo. Sonya is the odd one out, okay, but I always maintain this is just Eminem with a wig. Look at that Sonya portrait. Think for a second Eminem. Think orange wig, and don't tell me that that is not exactly what's in your head right there. If I ruin Sonya for you now, then I'm really sorry, but I mean, this is just what it is. But outside of Orange Eminem, we have 3 blondies over there, and on the other side, it's, I was just for a second thinking, we have Team Hoodie, but there's no Vala. We have Tyrael, and we have Oriel. Mephisto is in, so we're gonna get the whip again. Final pick for Skok. A little bit more damage would be nice on their end. So, yeah. But it's the Dream Team. Also Team Blue Eyes nearly, right? I'm not quite sure. I think Sonya is more on the green side, but either way. So, final pick, it's Chromie! I'm telling you, this is the Blondie team. Blondie, 4 blondies and 1 with a wig. That's what's happening here. That's definitely what's happening. This is a themed one. This is typical. This is what you would see in Sweden. This is typically Sweden. Everybody's blonde and has blue eyes, and then you have one ugly one in the mix, and that's Sonya. So yeah, this is perfectly reflective of Swedish society right now. It's honestly a little bit concerning that they went for a draft like this, but either way, I'll let it slide because I'm a nice guy. Garden of Terror, map number 2. Let's go. On the left side, in game number 2, we got Yasu on Hanzo for the French. The Frogs with Dequaz on Urel, Panda Colada on Mephisto, Banana Age on Oriel, and Masquerade on Tyrael. So, just in case this wasn't absolutely certain, they had some issues with a sub-player in game number 1, and now at least Panda Colada, which I believe is officially their 6th player, he's now there, so it's another sub, but it's one of their official subs. So, they just ran out of players, apparently. Or one of them just didn't show up, but now they are there with their normal, more normal lineup. Sweden with from God on Jaina, Captain Rex on Anduin, we got Sven on Eminem, Lauba on Johanna, and Skok is playing Chromie. So, let's go! At this point, we have also the Unyielding Power, Winter's Reach, and we got a little bit of a brawl in the middle of the map as Sonya up at the top is scaring the minion wave with her face. I don't know why I'm so mean to Sonya today. I really don't know. Maybe I've been here too long today. At some point you get a little bit bored. So, yeah, it is what it is. But, again, the minions got thoroughly shocked. They're all dead. And Sonya gets all of the experience, so she's happy. Down here, Anduin is doing what he does best. He's running away. Successfully, I might add, so no kills yet in the game. We're still waiting for the first one. But, of course, we also got now Oriel trying to go for a couple of whip plays as the game continues. And yeah, top side, we already have first camps taken. 1 minute mark passes, tons of camps on the map. You want to get as many as you can. You want to create a little bit of lane pressure, force your opponent to react. Especially if you can claim these camps a little bit faster than they do, then you of course find yourself very quickly in a pretty decent situation. So, yeah. But again, with the French team, yeah, already rotating around, doing more or less the same thing. They were apparently for a moment thinking of invading up at the top right. At least they had somebody scout the entire thing out. But there were a few too many heroes for them to really make that play. So instead of going for their own bruiser camp, they are now, or for their own knight camp, they're now going for the siege giants instead and push them through. So Sweden is a little bit faster when it comes to full camp control. Has also a slight lead in experience as a result. So there's that. And right, up at the top. Yeah, I mean, again, by now it's the repeated offense. Oh boy. Like, sometimes I honestly, with some of the names and some of the characters that are in Heroes of the Storm, I always have to think about how many fetishes were on that Heroes of the Storm team. It's like, it's absolutely crazy. Oh yeah, punish me, baby. Oh yeah, I want to be the bad boy. Who comes up with this crap? Oh, and of course the French are playing it. But yeah, I'm always saying this, but if you're a really, really good Oriel player and you hit every single whip, there's only two explanations. Either you have a second job as an archaeologist and your name is Indiana Jones, or you have a private sex dungeon somewhere and years of practice. Those are the only two explanations for a good Oriel player. And we all know what's a little bit more likely here. So yeah, shots fired, and I guess that's the first kill. The Panda Colada down at the bottom of the map trying to escape. He's going into the corners like, maybe I'll make myself real small, they don't see me. So yeah, 7 is on the board, they got the extra talent, and now things are starting to get a bit more spicy since the blue team is attempting to Hanzo Captain Rex on his Anduin. So up at the top, still the 1v1 battle continued. But I have to admit that this game in general is just a little bit more tame in the early game than I expected it to be. I expected them to go for way more aggression around opponents' mercenary camps. First seed was pretty much just given up. Second one is now up on the map and up for grabs, so they could go for that too. We have in the middle still a bit of pressure plays happening against the red team. The Swedes obviously quite comfortable with the lead that they have. Spray game on point by Masquerade. I appreciate that, so that's already nice. It's always a little bit disappointing when you have somebody that comes in with a big spray and then all of a sudden it turns out he forgot to change it. It's just like classic. So yeah. Now, you could argue that he might have focused a little bit more on surviving here instead of just creating a spray game on point. So Masquerade is dead. That's the end of Tyrael. And even with some non-explosion value here, the seed is going to end over in their hands. So yeah, there it is. Easy peasy. Grab it down to the bottom of the map. We still got Banana. And yeah, of course, they are also trying to get some structures here destroyed. But Hanzo gets caught on the camp. So nice. Yeah, Hanzo gets caught on the camp. Camp gets not... actually got stolen, sorry. And Chromie, with her ult, is now starting to take Mephisto down a notch or two. So things, generally speaking, are going pretty well for the Swedes. 3 kills to 0, half-level lead, stole the opponent's camp. Seed for a seed, and Sonya is now stealing another one up at the top side, so they have full control of this game currently. I'm actually a little bit surprised. Sweden is just crazy good right now, and have an entire level lead on 10. It's the same as they did in the last game. We got the Wrath of the Berserker, we got this, the Blessed Shield, and we got the Water Elemental. Down to the bottom of the map, again, another camp taken. Camp control is super important here. And talking about mercenary camps, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what the experience currently looks like, look at the difference in mercenaries. It's going to increase even further once this one gets taken. Judgment is in, and the arrow. Arrow soaked, so they actually save Anduin for now. Guys, this was pretty sick. Masquerade is about to die here. I love Judgment into Arrow. It's really, really cool. It's a great combo. We've seen it with a lot of success in the past. But in this particular instance, it backfired on them. And there's, of course, multiple plays that you can make against it. And one of them is just to soak the arrow with a different hero. Which is pretty much what they're currently doing right here. Seed number 3. Second for either team is up next. And look at the mercenary experience here. 1,000 against 2,600. That tells you already all that you need to know here. We have a lot more map control, generally speaking, from Sweden. And they control the lanes thanks to this. Helps them to take these waves down. Could go for the next objective here, down at the bottom of the map. More damage done. Skog always. Oh, the timeout. I don't think that's going to save him. Skog is dead. Chromie gone. And that is the first kill. Very first kill that we've seen in this game from France. The Frenchies taking them down. And yeah, the seed probably going to be taken by them. I mean, Swampgorda is sitting at the side and is trying to interrupt, so depending on the position that's taken here on the channel, can do it. First it's Lauber that moves in and simply uses his abilities, but eventually Banana Age is going to claim this, and that gives a lead over to the blue team. One more seed and they get the Garden Terrors. Down to the bottom of the map, still the control is there. I can't wait for the next combo, honestly, with Judgment, with Endurance of Hate, and with the Dragon's Arrow. That should be really, really strong. 13 is in. They maintain that one level advantage over the blue team. Yeah, and Sweden, obviously, also at the top now with 2 against 1, but Urel not really affected. Just rushing out of the fight. Divine Steed, always fun. At least for her. And down to the bottom of the map. It's Chromie with an enormous wave clear. Taking down some of these bad boys. As everybody else is just slowly rotating again. 13 is going to be collected by the blue team. And yeah, there it is. Everybody's totally willing to fight for the late game here. Just like wait and slow this out a bit. We've seen some isolated instances where teams fought over a camp. But generally speaking, no massive commitments. Blessed Shield, by the way, is now gone. Has missed. Did not connect with the target. And generally, the Swedish attack here did not do well for them. Didn't really help them a whole lot. So, yeah. Missed most of that. And couldn't really play around it. And this is now a bit of a weird one, because now the seed is located on the left side of the map. And I guess they're gonna let it slide. Garden Terrors, yeah. They're just gonna focus on defense. They're realizing that the position is really bad for them. They use their heroic abilities without getting anything. So now instead they're just starting to try and defend. Big arrow! And it didn't hit anything. So yeah, that arrow was called. They dodged it easily. And now with the Aegis already being used, they're still trying to get a kill. Timeout also. Anduin, Urel, Judgment, and bye Chromie. The Chrome Star is dead, and well, France is starting to do some real work here. Even Panda Colada on Mephisto is able to get out of the fight, even though it looked quite dicey for him for a bit. But now we have multiple lanes getting attacked. Sonya defended the mid lane and is on her way down to the bottom, but up at the top the fort has fallen. And down here, I mean, I guess Sonya eventually is going to defend this. I don't think they're going to lose the fort here. Top side, even more damage is being done. And France has taken over on the lead. France is ahead in experience now. They were trailing a level the entire time. Now they're ahead. Bot lane, yeah, they should be able to take it regardless. So now they go for Yasuo. Nice damage. But Swampgorda can't stay close enough or he's gonna get murdered by him. So Anduin is dead as he rotated in and ran straight into the opponent's team. They're gonna likely lose the camp now and they're gonna lose the bottom fort. Judgment is ready in another 5 seconds. So France has completely flipped this on its head. And Swampgorda is apparently overstaying at the bot lane a bit. Okay, there's the Drones of Fate, and well, that's Sven nearly killed, but he survives. And Banana Age forced back by Chromie. So all of them a bit low, but at least they survived through all of this. Now level 16 talents kicking in. Game is getting a lot more interesting all of a sudden. Big hits coming in from both teams, particularly the French, as they're starting to slowly take them down. And yeah, job well done. Okay, so with that, we have level 16 also available for Sweden, and in this case we get the Giant Slammer. The Quasar. Bush Quasar. Hiding in the wings. They can't do anything about the camp. I mean, obviously, if you have the vision, then in an ideal world, your team would rotate in and help you out. But that's not really happening here. We're 11 minutes in, and Chromie hasn't completed her level 1 yet, by the way, so sitting at 17 stacks currently. The next seed is now spawning, and I mean, at this point, if you're Sweden, you're actually very interested in finally getting a little bit farther ahead with this and getting your own Garden Terrors. So far, that hasn't happened. Aegis is already out, but the attack from the side against Hanzo is successful, and he gets dropped. Masquerade is about to fall on the right side. He's gone. Question is simply, can they get another kill? Especially Oriel is a bit low and is missing the whip, so they're playing extremely well around it. Every time it's coming, they're just dodging out on it. But instead of chasing and trying for kill number 3, they're now getting the second seed. And they can, of course, not only now defend the mid lane, but they can also try to topside push that keep, or that fort. I mean, Urel is there a little bit earlier, but there's 3 heroes moving in, so they should be able to take this one down. But nice back and forth. I mean, a killer on Urel would of course be the dream, but I just don't see it happening. And yeah, it is not happening. Even the fort might not be destroyed. But there's a full 5-man here. Arrow, big arrow, and it misses completely. Oh, Sonya might have been hit, but she moved in with her spear. Now the Blessed Shield didn't hit either, so both of them are missing a few. Everybody's jumping on Chromie in the back again. Blizzard already used, but Anduin is dead. And yeah, Banana Age, no, Sonya is dead. Aegis used to save the day for Oriel, and that is another double kill for France. Just as it seemed like Sweden was about to take control of the game again, they're losing out. And now they don't even have a chance to fight for the seed that would maybe give them the thingy, the Garden Terrors. So, yeah. But okay. With that, we now have 5 kills, 2-6. And still a lead in experience for France. Oriel with another whip connect. But this is starting to get really interesting, because now, I mean, if you think about it, there's only 2 forts that have been destroyed. 3. 3 forts have been destroyed. We are 14 minutes into the game. And 1 more seed is all that Sweden needs here. But they're also half a level behind. So there's definitely a window depending on how this plays out and how things are getting delayed, as you can tell. For now, at least, let's see what they can do down here. I mean, as you can tell, the camp about to be claimed. Seed could be fought for, but the position isn't really all that great for Sweden. So if Sweden lets this one go, then it's going to be a 20 versus 20 fight for the final one. And with final one, I mean the last one that gives one of the teams the Garden Terrors. And I guess they're going to let this one slide. Yeah, they're moving in slowly, but definitely not quickly enough to interrupt anything here. So they get it. France has it. 2 seeds to 2. They collected 5 to the 2 that we see from Sweden. And they're going to get level 20. So Sweden's job is pretty clear. Soak level 20 until the next seed spawns. Once the next seed is up, you want to have level 20. Because if not, then you're either facing Garden Terrors or you have to take a fight where your opponent has a massive talent advantage over you. So they have 30 seconds. 30 seconds, and they just also prep the camp for the opponent's team. Yeah. I think this is now going to get a bit weird. Because they had nobody down at the bottom of the map. They have to send somebody down, and they might just run into another set of Garden Terrors. So 9 seconds and the clear cut time, and they need their 20. Lauber gets attacked. Iron Skin makes his way back out. Sonya at the top is getting the XP for them. Okay, they're barely getting it. They're barely getting it, but they need to move Jaina back from the bot lane, and they have to go to the top. And right now, they're not making any moves here. They're giving it up. It's too late. There it is. Garden Terrors. Another set of Garden Terrors. Second one. 6 seeds claimed by the franchise. Sweden only with 2. And now they have to face the music over here. Yeah, good luck with that. 42,000 damage for Jaina. Top damage in the game. Doesn't really help them. Are they going to lose a keep? That's the question. Because, yeah, here we have the first one defeated up at the top. I guess they're going to take this Garden Terror also down without any big problems, always assuming that Jaina has her abilities up in time, which seems likely. So the keep is a bit exposed, and blue team could try and siege up here. But then at the bottom of the map, they still have to deal with this one as well. But, yep, things are quite interesting here. Map control completely lost. Sweden doesn't have any. I have to admit that the Garden Terrors did less than I expected. So, yeah, was really nicely done. And obviously now a few more camps up that can be taken, and they're already on their way to them. But Sweden, I mean, again, they have plans to bring this back. But if you really want to do that, you have to at some point win a team fight, you have to get a seed or do something, and right now it's not happening. They got 2 out of 3 seeds, 1 in the late game, and you can at least take these forts down. Maybe get even more done than that. So, yeah. This is getting really, really wild. France has a total chokehold on them right now. And just look at that minimap. They finally are trying to break out a bit. Trying to regain a bit of map control. Jaina even sent to the bot lane so that they can burn another minion wave down, which they've just done. Next seed is gonna spawn right here, and they need to do something. I mean, again, eventually they need to somehow bring this back. Getting a bit more control of the map is already helping them, so they're pushing all of the lanes out. Sonya up at the top. Can slam down the catapult here pretty quickly too. And now the seed is up. And you gotta pick your fight eventually. I'm really just waiting for the moment where Sweden says, alright boys, let's go. This is the one. This is the one fight that we're gonna take. Win or lose, let's make a move. Yeah, need to get rid of some of those siege giant camps, which they do. And now they got an avenue towards the... I was about to say the tribute. That's of course a totally different mechanic. It has nothing to do with tributes. It's totally different. First of all, one is called seeds, the other one is called tributes, and well, that's the only difference. And they let it go. They let it go! What is this, Frozen? Durance of Hate is in. There's a timeout, Judgment, Anduin is dead, Chromie is dead. And, well, now they're losing everybody. 4 heroes down, that's game. That's just straight up game. 5-man team wipe. Sweden, honestly, they were trying to bore them to death. I mean, they never really made a proper move here. They were always waiting for the perfect opportunity to present itself. That perfect opportunity never came. Then they got forced into the fight, lost it right away, and France says, thank you very much. I'm going to take that one. And therefore, the series is tied. France, not fucking around here. They take the victory on Garden of Terror. And that brings us with a tie in the series to game number 3. GG. Game number 3 in the best of 5. Well, the French just showed Sweden how it's done. We're going for Infernal Shrines as our 3rd map, and yeah, the series is tied. So, who's taking the lead here? Who's claiming victory in the next one? Now, quick reminder, every single hero that has been played cannot be played again in the same series. So, no pre-bans, nothing like that, but we want to make sure that you don't see all the same heroes over and over and over and over again. So, a small adjustment, a little bit of a compromise, and that will have an impact as we're heading into game 3, 4, 5. But of course, we're not going full Meta Madness here, where you all of a sudden see just Murkies pop up and Cho'Galls and Gazlows and everything. Now, occasionally we might get one of those, but it's not going to be the norm here. Now, either way, what exactly is Sweden now going to do? I really feel that they were just a little bit indecisive on the last map. They were just sitting there as like, don't want to fight here, don't want to fight there, and they waited for an opportunity that just never really presented itself. Now we are on Infernal Shrines. Hogger gets banned. Bit more of a familiar map. I mean, we started with towers and then went straight into Garden, so some of the bigger maps are already out of the rotation now. Bananas Ana gets banned because Ana's banana is pretty bananas. I think that was the wrong way. So, yeah. I kind of hope that Anna doesn't have a banana. But, yeah. Either way. These days you never know. Leo gets banned. More AoE that gets denied to them. And Brightwing. Everybody and their dog is running the Deathwing, mini Deathwing Brightwing skin. I guess the only other one that you have is the Monkey King, and that's pretty much that. But, yeah, outside of those, it's just pretty much it. Straight up. Now, there's a couple of heroes, obviously, that are not available anymore now that we're heading into Infernal Shrines that are normally taking a big role here. One thing that we still have, though, is, if I'm not mistaken... was my Yev played in game number 1? Again, this is the 3rd or 4th series of the day, so we've had a lot of maps. But Kerrigan is still up. My Yev... oh, God, I can't remember if she was playing game number 1 or not. But I believe not. Were the tether plays there? I don't know. Either way, Infernal Shrines, obviously, you want to have AoE for the battle. With Vala, you can go down multiple paths. You can go for an auto-attack style. You can go multi-shot. Just carpet the entire thing with your AoE attacks. Malthael Genji, quickly locked in for Sweden. So, already interesting. Especially with Malthael now here. A couple of different approaches of what he could actually go for. And, well... with bans, they could still address Lauba here at the front. There's also a map where he could simply say, you know what, guys, I'm just going to go ETC. But of course, we still have Varian around, which I don't think he's going to go for. I believe we still have Mirrodin up, Garrosh is up. So plenty of frontliners that can be taken. Lauba is not going to have a problem. Mirrodin, by the way, in the hands of Masquerade, so yeah, not something that Lauba can get. Uther gets also banned. They're really just trying to take all of the supports that can impact these fights away from the French team. But the Frenchies must feel pretty good. I mean, they had some player swaps going on between game number 1 and game number 2. But currently, they are looking very strong. Played a great game. That team wipe towards the end of game number 2 was stellar. Now we're seeing them head into the 3rd game with all of that momentum and that confidence. And Sweden, they are the ones that now have to prove that game number 1 wasn't a fluke. And Dequaza goes for tennis. Trying to go for the big swaps here. And also, of course, a bit of a damage sponge up at the front. Yeah. Stukov together with it can control the choke points on the shrines. Follow up on Mirrodin and any kind of Stormbolt that they're gonna get. But the final 2 picks now for Sweden. What's Lauba's pick? Varian. They go for Varian after all. Varian Imperious. Okay. Yeah, Varian Imperious. A lot of stuns, a lot of CC. Brightwing included, of course. And then you have Malthael behind this with added damage that he can bring. And well, stage is more or less set. We're heading into game number 3, France versus Sweden, here on the 2nd playday of the European top 8 qualifier. So first we start with 16 teams, we will it down to 8, and now we have a full round robin, and this is the 2nd playday. And our final pick for game number 3 is Medivh on the side of France. Alright, boys and girls, let's go. 3rd map, Infernal Shrines. Game 3, we're Infernal Shrines, and on the left, the French. Yasu and Vala. Dequaza with Atanis again. We got Panda Colada on Medivh, Banana H on Stukov, and Masquerade on Mirrodin. To the right side of the map, Lauba with Varian. We got Sven for Sweden with Malthael, Svamkrota on Genji, Captain Rex on Brightwing, and Skok is playing Imperious in this 3rd game. So, who takes the lead? We have another best of 5 in our hands. Every map matters here. Who claims the victory on this one? Vala with the multi-shot build. So already Portal Engage up at the start, trying to propel this forward a little bit. They're going for Vala, and Yaz is immediately jumping out. So yeah, gotta be careful here. Now with level 1 talents, we also have the Agile Dismount. And, ooh, hello Imperious, and bye Imperious. 1 down, 2 down, Lauba not dying first. And guys, I don't know what to say, but the French have apparently taken a lot of confidence from the last game, and they are just now coming in and doing solid work. First of all, we have decent stacking for Medivh right at the beginning of the game. We have stacks for Vala, they get 2 kills. Can't really start off any better than that. So, right from the beginning, very, very good approach by the French team. And yeah, there looking really, really good here. So, can they go the distance? Can they take the map? Maybe the series? Or is Sweden gonna fight back here? The Swedish team honestly impressed in game number 1, and they've had some great plays also throughout the second game. It's just that a lot of the decisiveness was missing a bit towards the end there. But either way, what we have for now is a slight advantage for the blue team. Allez le bleu! And we'll see if they are able to build on that. Masquerader attacking the camp over here. I don't really think that that's going to happen for him. But the good thing for either player on the side of the French is, of course, that they can rely on Medivh to really have their back. So Panda Colada, whenever somebody goes a little bit too deep, can either drop a portal or a shield, and that allows for a lot more aggressive plays. Need to be a bit careful with this after all. Banana H also using the portal to escape here, but they're definitely cutting it close on some of those guys. Now, Vala, again, she's stacking quickly, and she is going to have a massive impact whenever we're looking at Shrine fights later on. So she's going to be big on that. Now that Taunt is in, this is of course where Varian becomes a lot more dangerous and can help to take targets down. Still keeping a bit of an eye on Medivh. We had some very unfortunate Medivh plays earlier today. I don't even remember. It was the first series. It was Spain against Germany on Towers of Doom. And I believe Medivh died with 36 stacks. I mean, that one hurt. That one hurt. Big reset that happened. But now, of course, let's find out if Panda Colada can play this a bit safer and get his quest completed. So, yeah. But okay. Big fight already, big commitment on the camp. Vala isn't here, so this is a 5 versus 4, and good on Sweden. They go for aggressive plays and they steal the camp away. It's a bit of a gamble in the sense that if this backfires and they're not winning the fight, then of course they're going to get absolutely wrecked here on the next objective and would likely lose control of the game. But they knew it was a numbers advantage for them with Vala visible at the bot lane. It allowed the blue team to get a bit ahead on structural damage, so one tower is down, the gate is nearly lost, but they stole the camp away from the opponent, which puts pressure onto the top fort. The question is just simply, can they make a move for the first Punisher? Can they do that? So, yeah, starting to move in. Brightwing isn't here yet. Vala still at 9-10 stacks now. Medivh at 20, 26 to 15 on the objective. And Skork is getting more value for the team. Another stun. They go for Vala. The portal is already out. They might have to retreat here a bit. And the blue team is losing some ground as Brightwing is finally moving into the fight. So far hasn't really been part of this. It turns quickly on Stukov, and Banana H gets saved for a second. But even Medivh can't prevent him dying. Malthael drops him. The Angel of Death making a visit. And now it is objective number 1 for Sweden. And they also got their kill there. So, job well done. Lots of value for Sweden here. Controlling the bot lane first, defending it, and also getting the Arcane Punisher. So now the push through the mid lane. Let's see what they can do, especially besides the wall. I mean, the wall is kind of the minimum of what you want, right? Take the wall down, fair enough. Look at Medivh, by the way. Medivh is at 35. Yeah, he is beasting it currently. Should be very, very quick to completion. Unless he is somehow... Yeah, if they dive him somehow, then maybe they can do something, but I don't really see that happening. Currently, it seems that he is just in much too good of a spot to give this one up. Then again, I thought the same about the previous series that I mentioned between Germany and Spain. And as it turned out, I was dead wrong. Still lost all of them. But this is the moment when you want to be a bit more selfish with your shields. And Vala goes down. Yeah, Vala is dead. Nice lurking arm though. Did they go into deep? They're being chased heavily here. But Skork jumps away. Rest of the team is also on the move. Varian slowing them down further, and here comes Malthael, and all of a sudden they're looking at a numbers disadvantage. There's the taunt, they go into the choke point. Genji took advantage of this already. Kill against the appearance. He actually swapped himself to death. He literally swapped himself to death. Sorry, dove to death. Didn't swap. Martanis, he's still alive, goes for another swap, can't get the kill though. It's still a pretty cool move by Dequaza. So, yeah. Level 10. Any second, lost the hero, but they're back with heroic abilities. A little bit faster than the opponent's team. That's already an interesting game. I mean, obviously everybody wants to take the lead in the series now. We get Last Rites, we get the Warbringer, X-Strike is in the house, and at the top another tower falls. Dequaza is a bit too late to save this one. So, yeah, Lauber sitting on the side here. But the bottom camp has already been taken out. So, Leyline, Suppression Pulse, some attacks on Vala, not too much yet. Lauber has to be careful, they could still turn it though. But the stun, the lunge does not connect. Okay. Right. Starting to slow down a little bit. Vala sitting at 25 stacks. Yeah, damage output for the objective is of course going to be pretty big. If you can engage properly into the fights on the shrines and then get good value out of your shots, then hey, even better. I guess they're going to take this eventually. The pings have already happened, but I'm just reminded of the first time that they tried to go for it, but it was immediately stolen away from them. Now at the top, we still have a Varian do a bit more damage. He also completed his level 1 quest with the Lions more. There's the taunt, and damn, X-Strike is in, and Artanis, okay. Damage sponge he is. He soaked up a lot of it, but maybe a bit more than he could handle. So that is the end of the side laner, just as the Shrine is about to activate in 10. So should be another head start for the Swedish team as they're going for objective number 2. And consequently, the Punisher, Mortar Punisher this time. And yeah, let's see. Can they catch up? Or is Sweden just gonna let this one go? Right now we have Malthael already giving the team the lead. The rest is poking and prodding at the sides, just trying to make sure that they're delayed from moving in here. But yeah, that's 14 and they are at 18 stacks. Looking great. And only one team with a camp, so this is big value at the top against the fort. Sweden with really nice macro. Only they have their shaman camp, and down here with 3 kills to 3 and nearly level 13, Sweden is waiting for the talent advantage before they're making a move. Inevitable End is in, that alone is big and gives a lot of safety to Malthael, and now they're jumping in. Rain of Vengeance gets used. Vala super slow, big slaps here. Vala is low, still trying to play this one out. Yeah, Last Rites gets denied. They are still trying to get the kill. Oh, and Sweden is in trouble. They lose Lauber. They are in trouble here. They have taken the lead once again. The top fort has, by the way, fallen. Top fort is gone. And they are still trying to win the objective, and they do. They lose Imperius in the process, but they have at least denied the Punisher to the opponent's team. Malthael is going to fall, Brightwing is going to fall. 4 deaths in total that they had to suffer here. But they won the top fort, and they now got the Punisher. So, all in all, I would still call it a win, honestly. The experience lead is a little bit annoying, don't get me wrong. Getting those extra kills definitely helped France. But given the circumstances, they took a structure down. They did a little bit of damage at the bottom wall. They denied the Punisher to the opponent. Not saying it's a big win, but yeah, the top lane fort alone is kind of worth it. So right now, we still have topside pushed out just slightly. Level 14, the lead is there for France, but again, it is a small one. It is nothing too impactful they're going to play out with. Problematic is a bit more that we have now 37 stacks already for Vala. So the more she stacks, the better in the late game for them, especially around the objective, but even outside of it. More attacks against Imperius, forcing him to also drop his ult. Try to engage again with the lunge, but just can't hit them. And these last rides that we're seeing are also not on point. The shield for Medivh is always ready. They have to play around the shield cooldown a little bit more. This, on the other hand, this one was perfect. Medivh pops out of the portal and gets immediately killed. So this one, they played much, much better. And again, it plays out as we have a camp pushing. This is the second time now that Sweden was able to set something up with the really decent timing for themselves. And it is putting... I mean, it's honestly causing some real trouble for France. It's just what it is. So, another camp claimed. Could try and play around this in the mid bit a little bit. Maybe even take this this fort down. But both are now trying to go for level 16. Vala, with the 46 stacks that she has, is top damage in the game. That doesn't really come as a surprise. 41,000 damage. 10k ahead of Genji. And up here, Sven pushed this out a little bit further. Brightwing can take over. Rest of the team is already down at the bottom. And over and over and over again, we're seeing these engage attempts with portals from the blue team. So France trying to make their moves here. Trying to go in for another portal engage into the back line. Get a good stun in with Muradin. Focus on the follow-up afterwards. But it's a bit dicey. So camp's taken once more. Muradin is the only one that hasn't died. Well, on the blue team. Genji hasn't died yet either for Sweden. And he is... I mean, he's riding the money pick. What do you expect? Heroes that ride the money pick, they just die less. Now, this is the rumor. I can either confirm or deny this. But it is a very persistent rumor. And you know, there might just be some truth to it. It's what people are saying. People are saying that you're a little bit fast and you die less. So, yeah. Now, Shrine is up at the top. Brightwing is still at the bottom. Both are level 16 talents. There's nothing really that she is going to be able to do, at least nothing big. But they're focusing again on Stukov. It's a bit of the play that they're doing right now. The coordination from France is really nice, but a lot of this hinges on plays made by Stukov. And they're trying to put pressure on him to deny them. Suppression falls out. Leyline in the house. Masquerade, a little bit careful. Keep the shield in mind. Last rights can't be dropped if that cooldown is still there. Yeah, shield is already in. Now the opportunity to get close and get a last rights through. But not happening. Stormbolt to Genji's face just as he jumps in. And that is a kill. Too aggressive. Went too deep. And that is the end of Genji. And maybe the end of the ambitions of the team in red to get the next objective. Yeah. I mean, on the one hand, it's very satisfying to see that Genji player jumps in, gets met by a Stormbolt, and immediately pop, but I don't think that Sweden really enjoyed that view. So they were hoping that they could chase and get kills, and they were very quickly shut down. So now what we're seeing instead is a Malthael trying for the Shrine. Careful, my friend. There's quite a lot of heroes here that have other plans for you. I love how France is currently covering all of their bases. They're defending the bottom, they're defending the middle, they go for the Shrine, so that they are really playing well around it. We have also 50 stacks now for Vala. So again, the damage increase is of course big. Right. Yeah, Vala is having a ton of damage now on these. So the next objectives, whenever they clump up, that's going to be an issue. And bye-bye Medivh. Every time you think that maybe they put a damper on Sweden, Sweden just makes a move like this, goes somewhere on the map, sets a gank up, and then zip, annihilates the target. And they're trying it again. Good stun, this time connected. And Stukov slapping. Punisher wants a piece of the cake too. They're taking Vala down though. You can't do any damage when you're dead. Brightwing is dead too, so no heals for them. But seems like Rayquaza is the next one to fall. And that's 3 heroes down on the French side. 3 heroes eliminated. Fort is gone too, so 2 forts against 1. We have elite experience again for Sweden. This game is like weird. It's like all over. Comebacks over and over again. Left, right, left. It's crazy. Very interesting. And of course, the bigger question is now what happens in half a level when we are looking at level 20. What happens there? Can they use that window that they have to, well, do what? Take the fort down at the bottom of the map? I mean, that should honestly be an easy exercise right now if they really engage to it. Brightwing can jump in. This looks more like a bait to me than anything else. But a quick engage from Varian and a taunt should help them with that for sure. They want some extra experience and they're going to go for that as we speak. But yep, camp claimed. Level 20 is in. Brightwing again with the invisible friends. The glory to the Alliance. And the land of Solnarion. Alright. Doesn't really seem like they're going to press the advantage too heavily. Little bit of a poke at the bottom fort to be expected. If Varian can make an engage from good angle, then yes, maybe. But Curly doesn't look like it. Genji jumps in. Okay, Varian at the front. Moving out. Brightwing. Suppression pulse. No 20 for France. They don't need it. Leyline is out. Medivh alive, God knows how. And they take down Genji. Who needs 20? Who needs level 20? All the French need is a target. They take, I mean, kill after kill. Finally, this is the first kill with last rites, by the way. So Tannis is gone. And Vala Yasu is, of course, at this point just murdering. He has Manticore, he has Farflight Quiver, and he's just sitting at the sides, keeping his distance, getting the auto attacks in one after another, and he is crushing it. And on top of that, he also has his multi-shot, which is not looking too bad either. He is 20,000 damage ahead of Genji, who's the top damage dealer of Sweden. That's where we are right now. 20,000 damage ahead. And they are about to take full control of this game. Sweden, even with a level 20 advantage, hasn't done anything there. And instead, we're now seeing attack after attack. Vala gets... Leyline shields her. So she's still totally fine. And they're pushed back again. Every time that Sweden makes an engage happen now, they're being shut down. And the siege is now on. The French, they keep on the pressure. Shrines activating in 26 and they can defend some of the lanes. Easy rotations with Medivh. And then they can pop back in and do work on the objective itself. This Punisher is going to be pretty important. Now, there's a couple of good points for Sweden. Points in their favor. Biggest one is they have a fountain in the middle of the map. Mid lane, they have a fort, they have a fountain, they can fall back. It's a bit of a safety zone. And they can also just simply tap mana and hit points. If France, on the other hand, wins this one, then whew, this is gonna get a bit crazy. So, off we go. The party continues, and both are fighting for it. This is a big one. Arcane Punisher. Arcane Punisher 18 minutes in, 19 minutes in. 15 to 15. Vala is big here. Vala is at 64 stacks now. Taking full advantage of this. Another few hits against Genji. Arrow is out as well. 67 for her. Her damage numbers are really increasing. And they're pushing Sweden back. These choke points are so problematic for the Swedish team. Vala gets attacked again, but has no problem with Genji. Malthael is dead. And now they're coming in with even more damage, forcing Varian back, dropping another ley line, taking full control, 33 to 35 stacks, but it's France that walks away with another Arcane Punisher. 12 kills to 8. Maybe in the early game they struggled a little bit, but ever since they got level 20, they have turned things up to 100 and are now just going for kill after kill, pushing the opponent back. Sweden is struggling. The meatballs, they have real issues here. Yep. Tough times. Really tough times. The frogs are hopping slowly and steadily to victory here. One hop at a time. Stormbolt connects. Punisher still annoying as hell. Vala at 69 stacks. 72. And her damage is at 104,000. 40,000 ahead of Genji now. Again. Manticore and Farfly Quiver. Insane comp. Her stacks on the multi-shot increasing, increasing, increasing. The wave clear that she brings alone is nasty. Look at this. She's at 138,000 wave clear. The dedicated wave clear hero, Artanis, is 144,000. If you compare Vala's damage, her siege damage and her hero damage to the red team, it's insane. They took 2 forts down with this push, the middle and the bottom, and even opened up the mid lane and dropped the entire keep there. The entire lane is exposed now. It's nasty. Absolute nasty. Sweden needs a kill. They need a quick kill. They need an engage. They need a good taunt. The follow-up has to be precise. But then, of course, you have Medivh that drops a shield, drops a ley line, suppression pulse, Stukov slap. There's just so many safety tools to safeguard Vala. And they know it as well. And Vala just sits at a safe distance and is making these moves, and then Yasuo turns into the Juke Master 2000 and just simply evades any stun that comes his way. Another hit, another kill, Varian is gone. Varian is gone. Sweden finds himself in a very similar situation to game number 2. They're losing everything. They're losing everything here. Kill after kill after kill happens. Sven dies too, and that is going to be game. Easy fight. Once again, a move towards the core. They're stopping to get the final kill in, but they destroyed the entire team. Very reminiscent of what happened in game number 2. It's a lead for the French. The blue team with the victory on Infernal Shrines. They take the 2-1 lead in this best of 5 series as they drop Sweden's core on Infernal Shrines. Nicely done, well played, and Vala ending this with 122,000 damage. Okay, game number 4. Well, things got so crazy that apparently even my webcam was starting to freak out. So, after we had a bit of an issue with OBS, now we have some hardware problems here. Yeah, my entire OBS just totally freaked, like one error screen after another, restarting the stream, and then the camera had some problems too. But show must go on, so I'm gonna fix that for game number 5, always assuming that we're gonna get a 5th game, because France has a match point. Tracer gets banned. I guess we're not going to get a Tracer today. Seems like every time that she becomes a valid option, teams are just banning her out. So we got a 2-1 lead for the French team. They've been doing really well, honestly. They really control these late game fights perfectly, and on Infernal Shrines this was super visible. Vala with 122,000 damage. Now we're heading into game number 4, and this is, as mentioned, match point number 1 for the blue team. Sweden, they started off well in this series. They got the first win, and ever since, things have just deteriorated for them. They ran into big problems. Now they're looking at 2 games in a row that they gotta win if they want to take this one. Now this is obviously a big fight between 2 of the favorites to make it to Berlin. Abathur gets banned, and we have Sergeant Hammer eliminated as well. Sky has been banned by most other teams. It's not really a very popular map with most players. Very scripted, the rotations of the objective, and there's always this Hail Mary approach towards the end where you have a team that is behind or about to fall behind in talents, make a play for the boss, which is always a solid tactic and strategy that you could try and employ, but it employs a certain RNG factor there. So Li Ming is in, and she is first picked, so all about the resets here for them in game number 4. Sweden is really hoping for Skok to now make a big play, come in and just show them how it's done, get a few resets throughout these fights, and then just crush them there. The French team, on the other hand, with lots and lots of cool plays throughout the series, is now going for another potential win over here. They want to have the 3-1. Karazim for Banana H, and we have Falstad. What's going to be the next move for them? Lots of mobility already right from the start. You got the Birdie, you got Karazim. I don't think there's too many dive heroes currently available that could become a big threat for Falstad. You have ETC and Tyrannus, so Hunter's Mark is already in. Get a couple of interrupts there. Mosh Pit as an option. Could even go stage dive and play him in more of a side lane position, even though with Lauber on the team, I would be very surprised if it's not a normal Lauber ETC play. But even he has gone for stage dive multiple times, and if you want to play him at the top lane a little bit for objective number 2, for example, at spawn spot side, then you can always do that. I'm actually disappointed that we don't have Zeratul. Zeratul is a hero that lately we see less and less, and it is a crying shame. It would honestly be fantastic if we would get him a little bit more often, but as you can tell right here, he gets banned out. Wasn't even an option for them any earlier. So now we have Stitches banned, and yeah, another double pick for the blue team, where they can also focus a bit on the front line. Side lane hasn't been picked yet either, so that's another one. But yeah, let's have a look of what we're getting for Masquerade in particular here, but also for the Quasar. Zul and Uther, so double support already, lots of sustain. You have Zul for rotational plays. Yeah, this is already one of those very nasty comps to go up against. One of these things where you're like, ugh, do I have to? So, yeah, Zul is going to rotate between the lanes quickly, has massive amounts of wave clear. You have Uther and Karazim to keep everybody alive. Uther doubling as the main tank, of course. And then with the last pick, Yasuo, they need some extra damage here, but they could also go fully melee mode. Vikings! There we go! Finally, we have our Viking pick. Alright, me likey. Greymane for Svamgrotta, good damage, and we get the Vikings pick for Sweden. The Swedish Vikings. Doesn't get any better than that. That's already great. I already love that one. So on the left side in blue, what's it gonna be from our boys from France? What are they looking for? Final pick, Valeera. Okay, things got really interesting. Guys, that sets us up. Maybe the final map, maybe we are going the full distance. We'll find out now on Sky Temple. I know the overlay still says Infernal Shrines. My bad. Again, OBS crashed and a lot of other things happened, so got distracted a little bit. It's Sky Temple that's coming up right now. Map number 4 between France and Sweden. Game number 4, on the left, we got France with 2 points on the board. Banana H and Karazim, Quasar on Zul, Yasuo and Valeera, Panda Colada on Falstad, and Masquerade with the Uther main tank playing... yeah, Uther. Sweden on the right side with Lauer himself on ETC. Sven on the Lost Vikings. Svamgrotta on Greymane. Captain Rex on Tyrande. And Skok on Li Ming. Looking for the resets over here. So, who takes it? Who's going to claim victory? Are we going to get game number 5, or will France shut them down right now? Is this the last map of the series? Well, we're going to figure it out as we're continuing, and as we already have some aggressive plays made by Sweden at the bottom of the map, netting them nearly a tower. So Zul is immediately attempting to force the fight around ETC, doing some nice damage here too. And yeah. We got, obviously, Falstad in the top and Valeera in the middle. Now, if you're playing with the Vikings, the thought process behind it is, of course, strong 4-man that can just push one lane, be aggressive on one side, nice B-steps, and then you have the Vikings just doing their thing. The first one of them are already falling up at the top as they're trying to get a bit more cheeky here. Now, if you have Falstad and Valeera rotating around, you could technically end up in the situation where the Vikings are losing some ground on these lanes and will maybe lose structures. And losing structures is the worst, honestly. It's really difficult on this map because then even trades on the objective, on the temples, are always moving against you. So that's a big problem. Then again, Falstad down, so nice kill by Sweden. I always am a little hesitant in the last few games, or after the last few, to talk about Sweden being off to a good start, because we had that situation already multiple times and we all know how that ended. They now lost 2 games in a row, and they really, really have to dig deep here if they want to make sure that they're going to win this one. So, yeah, if they lose here, then it's lights out on this play day. And this is a direct competitor, so this is pretty big. If you're not making the win happen in this game, then you know you are going to be in trouble. But either way, with that said and done, what we now have is, of course, an aggressive performance from the 4-man. I mean, for good reason. You have 4 heroes. You are supposed to be the stronger one moving in for these ones, and that's why they're trying to invade the opponent's camp. But Falstad can fly down, and they're getting a kill on Li Ming very quickly, and I don't think it's going to be the only one. Yes, the birdie falls, but so does Tyrande, so does ETC. The camp was at least stolen by Sweden, but they paid with 3 heroes dying. So that was a bit unlucky for them. Temples are now activating in 20, and it really shows that France is ready for quick rotations to overcome these number disadvantages that they're experiencing on these side lanes. So with that, decent opening from both teams. I love that we are seeing the aggression and the adjustments in strategy from the Swedes, but then the French also with a pretty solid performance as they're trying to play out their own draft here, with Valera now with the relentless strikes and the crippling poison. Control taken at the top. Now there's two of the great main. Oh, Lauber saving the day, sliding in and pushing them back, but Svamgrota was so close to dying. Totally insane. Now in the middle of the map they're going for Olaf. Olaf doesn't stand a chance, so a couple more shots are being fired over here. Really aggressive performance on both lanes right now, but the Vikings splitting both teams on level 7 at the same time now. We got the spin to win, which allow the Vikings for more wave clear, but thanks to the camp that has been taken by Sweden, they can now do a lot of damage up at the top. There's no move made against Lauber just yet, but in the middle of the map, yeah, Valera is just going for Eric, which wastes a little bit of time there. Eric dies, but so did Falstad. So Eric and Balog are both taken out, which helps Zul to dominate the bot lane a little bit more. And that still seems like there's a bit more value to be had for the Swedes as the top fort is about to fall. So that's already a bit of a win. First structure taken out. Catapult pressure is going to be a thing from here on out, and there is a chance for Sweden to move into the middle and try and get a few more shots from the second temple, which are not going to do. Rotation is not fast enough, but suffice it to say that the fort here is not destroyed actually, so they weren't able to take this one. What we are seeing instead is them just like trying to get into good experience range, not fall too far behind. More aggression done now, 4 kills to 3. We have 49 stacks also for Uther, level 4. No triumvirate, instead we get the charged blast, but still a calamity as the follow-up. And the next objective is obviously going to spawn bot side. Next objective is going to be at the bottom of the map, so they're going to have that. And in addition to that, what we're now seeing is still camps claimed, at the top left in particular, by the French. And I wouldn't really count the French out too quickly, because again, it seems to be their late game decision making that is the biggest advantage that they have over Sweden, at least in this series today. And a win for either one of these teams would be pretty big. Again, it's a fight for the top 3. That's what these teams are aspiring to. They want to be top 3, and of course they want to also get a very good seed so that they have an easier first round opponent at the main event. A little bit of damage against the fort, nothing really to write home about. Yasuo can still lay a couple of traps here and hope to get contact. Yeah, and in this case he makes contact with Balog and takes him on. The problem is that he's also very quickly followed from the rest of the team, and this should be a kill against Valera. I don't think she can survive this. And then again she makes a move for Li Ming, tries to get the kill there and gets it with a divine shield in the level 10 that came through on the French side. So now a double kill. Turanda and Li Ming both dead. Nice. Really, really nice. I like it. Great moves by the blue boys. That was big. That was really big. I mean, honestly, this looked for just a moment like they might get even more, but I initially didn't really think that would be possible. Banana H diving back out again. Double support also gives them a lot of sustain, but now fort has been destroyed. 7 kills to 3. And you gotta give it to the French team. They are so clutch in some of these situations. The play is very coordinated, and it showed topside as Valera was first of all trying to escape from Li Ming and then just turned it on her as the reinforcements came in and they had access to the divine shield to help her out. So well done. Really, really well done. But okay, Balog again killed. Vikings are having a super tough time against Valera right now. Minimap control is obviously everything when you're playing the Vikings, but if you can't see anyone there, then yeah, you are going to run into some issues. And it allows Valera to go for more structural damage at the top. So Yasuo is playing this out very, very well. Might not have the most insane wave clear and occasionally struggle a bit, but it is overall a big win for them. It results in them losing a bot side fort because they cannot fight for the objective though, so that is the downside of what we're seeing. Yeah, still trying to play this out a little bit on the other hand. Yeah, it's not quite over yet, there's still a few shots available. Valera has now taken at the top. Divine Shield, nice to save Zul as Lauber goes for the mosh pit. Valera again, she has taken the top fort. So, very similar situation in structure still. And the French are having experience. French have taken the XP lead. Level 13, a little bit faster for them. And the camp, yeah, that's like came too late. Good idea, but came too late. Now we got Strangle. And strangle them they are, or at least they're trying it. Valera had to dive in and out, but Captain Rex on Tyrande was very low, and he's obviously the primary target for Valera. If Valera at any point gets close to him, then this is an easy kill. Talking about easy kills, Eric is definitely an easy one. 7-sided strike, they come in again. Everybody's so low here. Damn, Swamgrota, pretty much no hit points. Tyrande multiple times, insanely low. And yeah, at the same time, another little move made right here. Okay. I mean, I honestly really like the way that this is playing out so far. The two strategies absolutely colliding here. Both are coming in with very different ideas on how they want to run this game. Valera at 20,000 damage, Falstad with 20,000, Zul with 21,000, Greymane on the other side with 22k that he brings to the table. And at the bottom of the maps, we're now having more and more side lane control from Falstad. I mean, again, they got the global, so you obviously want to use him. So far, he has been the primary target for the Swedish team. 3 deaths on Falstad. He's the only one that died so far. Nobody else except for Falstad died on the blue team side. Scouting happening. Nice owl connect too, by the way. That one hurt. But now we have them still with a half-level lead. So, where do we go from here? Next objective, activating in 10. And we have a double shrine. Double shrine is up again. Yasuo with really good moves. And they go for... nice jump. Nice. I was just about to say they're going to take Olaf down, but not able to pull that one off. Zul's wave clear, of course, legendary. One of the main reasons why he got picked here. The main reason. Can use him in the team fights as well, of course. You have the sustain. Vikings down at the bottom of the map. That's where the map control really kicks in. They hope for 16 for that fight, but even without it, would be a good one. Once they take the minion wave down over here, they should be fairly close. Maybe already have it. So, yeah. Level 16 talents. Talent advantage for the French. They are losing ground though. They're losing structures. Fort in the middle of the map is lost, and now the keep wall gets attacked. Balog at least down. Valera once again active at the top of the map and escorting one of the camps they claimed earlier through. And now she's coming in from the side. Going for Tyrande maybe, and yes, they cannot get the kill. The Morsh, the Divine Shield. Tyrande is down, and they could not get the birdie. Big value plays right there. Panda Colada moves away. They got their kill. They pushed them away from the shrines. And now they're trying for another one, but this time Kerosene gets caught, so does ETC though. 10 kills to 4. Damn, Zul. No, he's not making it, is he now? Maybe? He kills Jay. What? He actually kills Li Ming. No way. What is this game? The plays that are being made there is insanity. Zul back down to the bottom of the map. Now they're going for Olaf and they kill him too. Up at the top, yeah, well, at least a little bit of damage done with the catapult, but not too much. And not that they're getting that. They take down the bottom fort, so shots are fired. They can also take the remaining shots down here, which is not a whole lot, but hey, everything counts, right? Eric nearly dead. Valera still fine. Masquerade, he is dropping a bit low and should probably hearth back, which is exactly what he does. So the final few shots are fired. Damage done to the bottom. One of the towers already down, so they're getting quite close. Now, boss is of course still up, so this one hasn't been taken yet. And now that level 16 is in for both teams, it also means that Olaf has Largen in charge. That's a big talent for him. Big team fight talent for Olaf. And right now, of course, more about camps than anything else. Valera again trying for Eric, at least making his life a living hell. And as you can tell, we have still a half-level lead for the French team. Very impressive performance, especially by Yasuo, I gotta say. The Valera plays... Valera oftentimes is just a direct auto loss. And most of the time when you see her played and her actually winning, which is very, very rarely, if at all, it's a match where, you know, you're going up against an opponent that just it's not on the same skill level. Here, very different story. Very impressive by Yasuo. Great plays by him, fits very well into the style that they're trying to play, and he can control the Vikings, I mean, to an extent, on those side lanes. So once again, Valera moving in, might need the Divine Shield here, depending how deep they want to go. Seven-sided strike is already in, ETC low, ETC down. They want more, and they're looking for more. Looking for another kill. They take down Olaf, and he's not the only one. Tyrande gets caught, and she gets murdered. Absolutely eviscerated. An entire level lead now, and they even get Greymane here in the middle. The French are popping off. Absolutely popping off. Yeah, they're crushing them. They're absolutely crushing them. It's really impressive what they're doing here. Zul is rotating from one lane to another. Boss, of course, gets claimed. There's nobody here that can contest this. It's a double altar, double temple that is up now, with the Vikings trying to get value on this one. But Yasuo is chasing Vikings again. Finds another one, comes in, and forces Balog back. Very well done. So, down to the bottom of the map, Masquerade taking a couple of these shots. Zul takes over. They want Eric, might get him. Falstad is taking camps. Valera is taking the top. They take Eric down. Camp after camp is claimed. Bot lane, the problem is that they haven't even dealt with the boss yet, and we're at the 14-minute mark, so it's not like this guy is super strong, but he's also not weak. It's gonna do some damage, and combined with the bottom... I think this is keep? With the bottom temple? I mean, duh. Yeah, gets the hit through, and that's more than enough shots fired. Yep, they're going to take the bottom keep down, and you know what? They are going to do severe damage to the top keep too. Is this one going to fall? I don't think so. I think it's just going to stay, but it's going to be very, very low. So yeah, last final shots are fired, and still has a few hit points left, but they got a full objective out of the last one. And with the level 20 talent, we now have the elusiveness, we get the wind tunnel, and they can push the advantage a bit more and try to get the top keep too. So, at this point, Sweden can't trade objectives anymore. If they trade temples, they're gonna lose the game. They gotta throw a Hail Mary at the boss later, they gotta go for an aggressive stance, they gotta do something. They're gonna lose this keep for sure, and that means they only have one keep left in the middle. Wind tunnel is used just to get the space, then they move away from this one. Dash target is provided by Falstad. They're still trying to chase this, but Banana Age can simply dash out of this one. They got the mobility and they're absolutely using it. So now, yes, you have Vikings that control your side lanes, but at the same time, the Vikings are being hunted by Valera, and on top of that, you're also finding yourself in a situation where you have just constant catapults against you. Yasuo has to be a bit careful that he doesn't get caught, which might actually happen now. Yeah, there's the slide. Alright. And the fight continues. Yasuo makes his way out. Good for him. ETC gets caught. Wants to go for the mosh pit. It gets interrupted. And that should be the end of Lauba. Lauba is gone. This might just spell the end of the match. With well, Karazim died. Karazim died, gets the reset. And there's another one. Nice. Now we're talking. Skorg, look at him. Popping them one after another. Nicely done. And that's another kill. Valera is gonna fall. 4 kills in a row. What? Sweden. Sweden, baby. And it just goes straight for the bottom keep. Can they go core? It looked like a sure win for France. And now Sweden is coming in, trying to maybe end the game. 25 seconds. Like, what the hell? What the hell? This looked like 100% win for France, just a matter of time. And now all of a sudden Sweden is like, boys, we would like to play a little bit longer. We're still fine. We're still okay. We're gonna end this. Let's go. Game 5. What you got? Nothing. That's what I thought. Sweden wins on Sky Temple and forces the 5th map. Insane. Good news! Not only do we get game number 5, but also the map is now correctly labeled and the camera is back. Dragon Shire, game number 5, we're going the distance. I didn't believe it. Honestly, the game went so well for the French. They played it perfectly. They destroyed the keeps. Everything was going well for them. And then all of a sudden, it was just this one team fight that was lost at the bottom of the map. And Sweden looked at it and was like, you know what, guys? How about we just end the game and win it? And, well, they did. So, good for Sweden. They forced game number 5. Impressive performance here. Really well done. And they bring this to the final map, where we're going to get the conclusion of which one of these two favorites, these two top teams, are going to win the first big clash between the top 3 or in Europe in the top 8 of the qualifier. So, Stitch is banned, Hogger banned as well. Dragonshire, again, as I mentioned before, is the map. Now, keep in mind that all of the heroes that were played already in this series cannot be played again. It's the small adjustment that we're making to make things a little bit more interesting here at the Nations Cup, to make sure that you're not seeing the same heroes played over and over again. Doesn't make things too crazy, as you can already see from the games that were played so far, but of course once that you're going into game number 5, it also means that 40 heroes are not playable anymore, and then you have another 6 that get banned. Roughly half the hero pool is banned out. Roughly. Nothing insane. Still plenty available. You're not going to end up in a game where there's no supports left anymore, but it puts a bit of twist to it. Sergeant Hammer as an early pick immediately for the French team. Okay, and well, for Sweden, what's their game plan now? The Vikings worked out perfectly for them, and they chose the map. They chose Dragonshire. I think Rexa is, I believe, still up, so he could be played on the top lane. Oh, the Lauber special. It's the Swedish special. The speed Garrosh. So Zarya on level 4 with a speed bubble, speed barrier, and then just simply dropping it on Garrosh. Garrosh turns into a race car, runs into the opponent's team, flips the target over, and it gets taken down. So this is exactly what they're going to try and do. Normally a strategy that we mainly see on Battlefield of Eternity. We've seen it on other maps as well, but it's not really all that common. But now they're using it on Dragonshire. And it is, of course, something that can also use to get access to Sergeant Hammer and take her down. So, yeah. They got Kados in, so is May. They, of course, attempt to, or gonna attempt to shield Sergeant Hammer as best as they can. But, yeah. Last ban for both of these. I can still wrap my head around that we're in Game 5. It's like, what? Initially, Sweden looking really good, winning the first map, then France just going crazy, winning 2 in a row with ease, and then that happened. Illidan getting banned out on map number 5 now, so yeah, they're getting rid of him. And on the other side, obviously, they expect the hyper carry to be put in play, and they're eliminating Cassia, which allows now for the double pick on the Swedish side. I guess we're going to get the support and the main damage dealer? Or do they have another surprise up their sleeves that they want to reveal just a little bit later? So, yeah. Well. Malfurion and Gul'dan. Alright. Malfurion is in the house and Gul'dan for him. Yeah. Wasn't Gul'dan banned by one of them in one of the previous games? So yeah, Lots and Wavecliff for sure. They're still missing the top lane. Still need someone for the top lane. And Rexa is up. Could be played. Could play around him. Gives you another stun. Well, too late. Rexa is taken. Yeah. And there's Nazeebo. Could be a long map, so Nazeebo 4 stacks is in play. Can also shield Sergeant Hammer a little bit. That leaves us with Sven again as the final pick for the Swedish team. Keep in mind, this is the final map in this particular match here on the second play day of the Nations Cup. And what's Sven gonna do? What do you have? What you got? Rex on the top against Samuro. Here we go, everybody. The final map, it is Dragonshire, Sweden against France. Which team takes the victory in the best of 5 series? Without further ado, let's find out here on Dragonshire. The final map, the final game in this best of 5. On the left, we have Banana Age on Deckard Kane, Dequaza with Rexa, Panda Colada on Nazeebo, and we got Yazoo on Sergeant Hammer. It's hammer time for the blue team with Masquerade, playing May. On the right side, Captain Rex for the Swedes with Malfurion, Lauber on Garrosh, supported by Skok on Zarya with the speed barrier on level 4. Svamgrotta with Gul'dan, and Sven is playing Samuro. So, who wins it? Who takes it? Who claims victory after Sweden has just now been able to push this entire series to its final conclusion in game number 5? Right now, level 1, we got the Warbreaker, we got Widowmaker, we got lots of stacks with the Echoed Corruption and the Wave Illusion. And, well, we got probably not a kill. Nope. Got close, but the damage over time took a little bit too long. Nazeebo could have fallen here, but he still made it. So, they're already starting to fire away down here. Zarya, of course, getting some energy, moving into tower range and getting some push on her. Team still doing work, and Nazeebo stacking his level 1, definitely taking advantage of the position that the Swedes had, but they're trying to be aggressive from the get-go down at the bottom of the map, and this is only going to increase when level 4 hits and Garrosh has his speed barrier. Because once that's the case, Zarya is going to work in tandem with him to just try and destroy this as quickly as possible. And it's an interesting performance here too, because we have a very strong 4-man now. I mean, again, as I said previously, this is one of the strategies that initially was developed on Towers, on Battlefield of Eternity. Reasoning behind it is you want to have a very strong 4-man. So Zarya in a good 4-man can crush, absolutely crush. And that's what they're now trying to do as they're going for camps down here, as they're just setting up with Zarya in general, have Gul'dan do his work with his level 1 on the Echoed Corruption, trying to get some stacks together, and they are attempting to go for the fort. Now the entire game is being accelerated a little bit since both teams are making aggressive plays. We have Sergeant Hammer sieging up at the top, and Sweden just decided that they won't be able to really contain this, so instead they're just going for damage themselves. And already making some moves for Nazeebo. So Nazeebo is dead. First blood is here, Lauber survives, they got level 4, and now we're gonna get the speed barrier, as you can see here, and the fort at the bottom of the map is gonna fall. Sweden is not gonna have any problems with trading structures with the opponent's team. The reason is actually very simple. If you just trade structures, I mean, first of all, they're also getting kills. It's point number 1. Already a win for them. But if you trade structures with the opponent, all you're doing at the end of the day is you're accelerating the pace of the game. Teams are getting passive experience, you get a bit of an experience boost just in general. Teams have a bigger distance to safety, which leads to more fights, more kills, you have to play safer, but generally speaking, the game is faster, gets accelerated. That works well if you're going up against Nazeebo. Nazeebo is somebody that is a late game menace that you don't want to go up against when he's fully stacked and has a Vital Infection. So this is definitely playing in the cards of Sweden. Dragonite is taken as well. I mean, everything is going well now. So we have the forts down super early in the game. Dragonite gets locked in very quickly. And with Gul'dan, they can now start to do damage up at the top. Obviously, they're not going to get too much done here. It's a very early Dragonite. But as long as they're playing around the Dragon's Breath, they can do some serious damage to structures, to minion waves, and also control this camp a little bit here. So just try to play the duration out and use the cooldown whenever you get an opportunity, which is exactly what they're doing. Use that AoE as best you can. And it creates space for the rest of the team on the map. Level 7 is also in their hands just a tiny little bit quicker. Sergeant Hammer gets kicked around too, doesn't have the mobility yet with level 7. But Sweden is all of a sudden, they're pushing it. They're definitely realizing, hey guys, this is doable. This is definitely doable. They struggled a bit on the second and third map, brought it back on map number 4, and now very strong opening into game number 5. But of course, with a little caveat that there's a lot of late game potential for heroes like Sergeant Hammer, for Nazeebo, so they have to be a bit careful how they are playing this one out. Yasuo gets attacked, gets away, but yeah, cutting this one really close. Less than 100 hit points. And they're still going for more structures. The wall has already been destroyed, they're doing work up at the top, even Sven rotated in with Samuro. And now that level 7 is in, I mean, I would be shocked if he picks anything else on level 7 here, but Yasuo is teasing. Yasuo hasn't made a choice yet. Hello? Sergeant Hammer on his way. Misha! Yeah, Misha surviving. Okay. But alright, half of the hit points are gone on the top fort. Here comes the Hava Siege mode after we got the regenerative Biosteel. Samuro is back down to the bottom of the map. And Panda Colada with 55 stacks and the completion on his Spider Quest. So, after 5 minutes, lead in experience, bit ahead in kills, structurally also taking a slight advantage over the opponent's team, but definitely nothing too crazy yet. So this is still all manageable for France. They excelled in the late game so far in the previous games, and this one very likely won't be an exception if they're able to get there. Sergeant Hammer sieging up as usual. But what Sweden is attempting to do here is also quite clear. They are currently playing for level 10. They want the early level 10, then they want to play around it. Sergeant Hammer already has to Z out of this one. And Sweden sets up in the middle of the map just as they're about to hit their heroic abilities. Which they could, of course, use to invade a couple of camps like Siege Giants down here. Nothing that can be done about it if you're the French. And the objective, I don't really think that they have enough time to really work on the objective itself too, but a bit of damage can definitely be done, especially now that they're having a double siege giant in the camp bot side. Siege up on this just a little bit, try and protect it, get some structural damage done. In an ideal world, you open the wall up. Zebo alone is going to have a tough time here, and they will have to send some heroes back, which is exactly what they're doing up at the top, as you can see. Small window, but it's there. And it allows them to break this wall. So the wall is gone. Garrosh is looking for a target, can't really find anything, and now both teams have level 10. Nazebo, well, Samuro is taking top. Double kill, no! Rexa and Mei are down, and Samuro is going for the next Dragonite. Samuro is going to get a Dragonite now. And they're killing... Holy shit! What is Sweden doing to them? 5 kills to 0. It was a 4 versus 5 defense. Dragonite is taken by... Guys, this keep is gone. This keep is gone. They lost way too much in that last encounter, and the Dragonite isn't even going down to the bot lane because they're realizing that they're going to take this thing down one way or another. So instead they're going in the middle and opening this up a little bit further. This is getting crazy. There's the ice wall. Keep is going to be safe if this continues, by the way, despite the fact how much damage they've done. Sweden is in a really interesting spot now. Fort in the middle is about to be destroyed. Keep at the bottom of the map is still open, but again, it's so low, it probably doesn't really matter in the long run. So Garrosh is gone, but this fort has been destroyed, and the Dragonite is just moving over to the top to take another one down. The French got a kill, but Sweden is wrecking it. Great fear play from Gul'dan. Samuro with the control over the top lane, getting full control with this, getting 2 forts. It's an insane advantage now for the Swedish team, and they're accelerating the game so heavily that it's going to be super difficult for France to get into a late game when a Zebo can be the deciding factor. Insane! Those fights that we saw down at the bot lane, absolutely decisive by Sweden. And I've criticized a bit on Garden of Terror earlier that they just weren't decisive in the way that they were approaching fights. None of that visible here. They are making quick moves, they're making decisive moves, they know what they want. Another massive Horrify! Massive Horrify! Murdering Sergeant Hammer. Murdering it. And if there's any play or any game that proves that a French tank is only worth half what a German tank is, then this is it, right here. 100%. If that was Nick or Hazu, Sweden would be dead already. It's still insane to me. France was in the lead. They had a 2-1. They looked great. They looked like they were easily winning game number 4. At least they're getting kills now. They're taking Samuro, Zarya, and Malfurion down, so they're bringing this back. They're trying. But this is just so much more difficult for them than I expected it to be. Because Sweden popped off at the beginning of the game, looked great, but they haven't won it yet. 2 forts still in play for Sweden. Again, this bottom keep is eventually going to be taken. They didn't go for the keep with the Dragonite, but they got, as a result, 2 forts. So, hashtag worth it. But what a series. I mean, the game itself is already crazy, but then you think about the entire series in its context, and it's just insane. Just absolutely insane. So still a bit of an advantage. 22,000 damage for Nazebo, 44,000 for Gul'dan, the only one on the red team that hasn't died yet. And Sergeant Hammer is now trying to get into this solid position where he can just do his thing. But yeah, it's wild. Really wild. And Samuro, obviously, is also a huge nuisance. I mean, Abathur, no Abathur. Obviously, if he has a symbiote head and you have the Samuro copy, it can be even more of a problem. But already, he is making things difficult for them. But this is exactly the spot where France wants to be. They want to push with that 4 or 5 man, have Sergeant Hammer fully guarded, and then just slowly siege up, slowly do the damage, slowly push Sweden back, and make it difficult for them. The one thing that allows Sweden to break through this is Samuro, who is at the top lane, which not only gives them more experience, but they're also now threatening the top wall of the keep. So this can't last. They have to move back. They can't stay here. France can't stay here. Horrify, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Svamgroda, seriously, he's ripping them a new one single-handedly. He doesn't have the Horrify ready to interrupt Nazeebo afterwards, so they lose Malfurion, but when it comes to Sergeant Hammer control, Svamgroda is on a different level. They kill Degard Kane, they lose Gul'dan, and they lose Garrosh. Zarya is dead as well, Rexa gets murdered. I'm honestly a little bit torn on the fact that Sven came down here with Samuro. He might have just been able to push for keep at the top. Not sure what I think about that. He got them a kill, he made sure that they didn't fall too far behind there, but he was alone at the top lane. Maybe it would have been better for him to be topside. Look at how much damage was already done at this wall. If he breaks through that and goes for the keep, even if their losing heroes are down at the bottom of the map, he might do enough. If they wouldn't have killed Sergeant Hammer, it's a bit of a different story. But because, again, with Sergeant Hammer in play, then maybe the blue team would have just decided to try and outpush him at the bottom. But with Sergeant Hammer gone, I think he could have stayed. Fairly even experience now. Objective is up. Nazeebo keeps stacking. 143 now. Looking good. He should be able to hit it for 20. And that's a Dragon Knight. That's another Dragon Knight. If Sven goes in the middle right... Well, it isn't. Oof, I thought they had it at the bottom. If that shrine goes over, they have it. Oh, this is getting so close here. 16, Giant Killer, Spider Colony. Samuro is again up at the top, and the blue team is now fighting for the camp down at the bottom of the map. 60,000 damage from Samuro. 60,000. And right now, 9 kills to 8. 18 to 17. Still a lead in experience, and as long as they can keep Samuro at the top, it's going to be nice for them. It really feels like the blue team just decided they want to go and just pressure through the keep for the core. And it forces Samuro back again. So Samuro is moving back out, or will soon, but the keep at the top is exposed. So he can now, with the catapult, with the camp, go for this. If they don't move back, Quasar is now moving back. It might be too late. Guys, this is enormous. So Rexa is back, but the entire wall is gone. One of them is back, and Samuro doesn't want to have any part of this. He is willing to go up against Rexa, not against Misha. Misha is a different beast. Quite literally. So, DK, yep, it's gonna Dragon Knight. They're gonna get the DK here. No interrupt possible. Holy cow. Still a little bit of damage at the keep top side, not really enough. And now they're going down to the bottom of the map. Oh my god! Sweden! Sweden on the move! Closing in on level 20. Can they get 20 for this? Dragon Knight in the middle, burning another minion wave down so that they can get closer to Storm Talons. The keep is gonna fall down here. That's a given. They want to go for core. That's the goal here. They want to go for core. Damage is already being done. Keep is gone. And they're just falling back. They're not forcing it without 20. If they have 20, maybe. But not without it. Move into the middle. Okay, so not going for core just yet. We got the Lunar Shower. Unyielding Defender. 3-bladed style. What a game. What a series. Yeah, DK didn't do too much, but they took the keep down. That's honestly what mattered the most. But the French are gonna have level 20 as well. And Nazeebo is ready. Nazeebo has 184 stacks. 185 now. Yep, this is gonna get wild. This is a wild game. France or Sweden? Who's making it? Vile Infection, there it is. Quick damage check on the Zebo, 34,000. 34,000, 109,000 on Siege. That's his numbers right now. That's where we're at. Watch the next few fights. Gul'dan is at 71,000, doubling his damage. That ratio is gonna change soon, TM. Topside, Winions, baby, and Samuro. Winions and Samuro, you can more or less kiss that keep goodbye. Samuro is whacking away at this thing, and right now, France just has decided that they are going to go for it. The solo YOLO down at the bottom of the map. Make it happen. Nazeebo with some damage. Samuro still deciding. Another great Horrify. Great follow-up. Jesus, Svamgrotta, can you miss one just to make the rest of us feel a little bit better? Svamgrotta is murdering Sergeant Hammer whenever Hammer pops his head out. Insane. Absolutely insane. 38,000 damage for Nazeebo. Doesn't even have an opportunity to unleash the damage. Doesn't even have a chance here. There's not even a fight. Svamgrotta just comes in, drops a Horrify, and they're losing Sergeant Hammer, which is one of the absolute key heroes in the lineup. Masquerade, spray game is on point, escape game not so much. He's gonna fall. May is dead. Objective announced. Guys, Sweden has this. They got it. They seriously got it. Sweden has it. Nazeebo has 200 stacks. Maybe he can melt them. Hammer 15 seconds back. Right, Sweden doesn't have it yet. But it's... They have another Dragon Knight. Now, that Dragon Knight going up against Nazeebo on level 20 and Sergeant Hammer... How much damage do you get out of this one? That's the question. Also, let's not forget what happened on the fourth map to France. The same could happen to Sweden. Another flip. They're trying for Misha. And the Dragon Knight, do you go for core or do you go for a few more keeps? BFG, not enough. Tranquility already used. Yeah, get a bit of damage done over here. Sergeant Hammer is kicked away, so they buy themselves a bit more time and they go for the core. They're not even bothering with the keeps any longer. They want the game. They want the game, they want it right now. They got Zarya, they got the damage, they're going in, and the core is falling. It's falling, it's falling quickly. Sweden, no way, they did it. Sweden wins against France. What an insane series. But it is the Swedes with a victory.